It was a brisk autumn afternoon in Detroit, Michigan. The golden hues of the sun danced across the weathered streets, highlighting the vibrant graffiti murals that gave life to the urban sprawl. Among the hustle and bustle of the neighborhood, a small figure stood out. A little girl, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, with curly brown hair tied up in a messy ponytail. Her name was Lily, and she was known for her kind heart and an old soul that often shone through her youthful demeanor. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. Lily lived with her mother in a modest apartment above a bakery. Her mother worked long hours to make ends meet, leaving Lily with ample time to explore the neighborhood. She loved sitting on the stoop, observing people passing by, creating stories about their lives in her mind. But on this particular day, something different caught her attention. Near the edge of the block, a man sat alone on a bench, a hood pulled low over his face. He appeared lost in thought, almost out of place among the lively chatter of the street. Lily had seen him before, not in person but on posters, in music videos that played on the old television in the bakery below. It was Eminem, the legendary rapper. He wasn't surrounded by an entourage or swarmed by fans, just a solitary figure scribbling in a notebook. Despite his fame, there was a vulnerability about him that tugged at Lily's heart. Lily didn't know much about celebrities, but she knew enough to recognize when someone needed a small act of kindness. Clutching a sandwich wrapped in wax paper, a peanut butter and jelly her mother had packed for her earlier, she took a deep breath and walked toward the bench. Eminem didn't notice her at first, too engrossed in his scribbles. "Excuse me," Lily said softly, her voice trembling slightly. Eminem looked up, startled. His intense blue eyes softened when he saw the little girl standing before him, clutching a sandwich with both hands. "Hi," he said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "What's up?" "You looked hungry," Lily said, holding out the sandwich. "My mom always says to share if you have enough." Eminem blinked, clearly taken aback. For a moment, he didn't say anything. Then a smile, small but genuine, crossed his face. He took the sandwich from her with a nod of gratitude. "Thank you," he said, his voice carrying a warmth that belied his tough exterior. "What's your name?" "Lily," she replied, her cheeks flushing slightly. "What's yours?" He chuckled, the sound light and unguarded. "Marshall, but you probably know me as Eminem." "I know," Lily said with a shy grin. "My mom listens to your music sometimes. She says you're really talented." Eminem smiled again, this time with a hint of surprise. "Your mom has good taste." The two talked for a few minutes, the unlikely pair sharing a conversation about music, Detroit, and Lily's love for drawing. When they parted ways, Lily felt a sense of accomplishment, unaware that her small act of kindness had left a deep impression on one of the most famous artists in the world. 7 days passed, and life continued as usual for Lily. She went to school, helped her mother in the bakery, and spent her afternoons on the stoop, sketching the scenes around her. She had almost forgotten about her encounter with Eminem, chalking it up to a chance meeting. But on the 7th day, something extraordinary happened. It started with a knock on the door. Lily's mother, wiping flour from her hands, opened it to find a man in a suit holding an envelope. He introduced himself as part of Eminem's team and handed her the envelope with a polite smile. "This is for your daughter," he said before leaving. Curious and slightly apprehensive, Lily and her mother opened the envelope together. Inside was a handwritten note. "Dear Lily, thank you for the sandwich and for reminding me that the simplest acts of kindness can mean the most. You probably didn't realize it, but that day, I was struggling. I've been trying to write new music, but it hasn't been coming together. Meeting you and seeing your kindness inspired me. I want to return the favor. Here's something to help you and your mom. And if you ever want to visit the studio, let me know." Along with the note was a check for an amount that made Lily's mother gasp and cover her mouth in disbelief. It was enough to pay off their debts, repair their apartment, and secure their future. But that wasn't all. A few days later, a black SUV pulled up outside their building, and Eminem himself stepped out holding a wrapped package. He had kept his promise to Lily. Inside the package were art supplies, sketchbooks, pencils, paints, all the things she had dreamed of but couldn't afford. He had even arranged for Lily to visit his recording studio, where she could see how music was made and share her own creative ideas. The story of Lily and Eminem spread quickly through the neighborhood and beyond. It was covered by local news outlets, touching hearts around the world. People were moved by the idea that a simple gesture, a sandwich offered with no expectations, could spark such an incredible chain of events. For Lily, the experience wasn't just about the gifts or the attention, it was about the lesson she learned, that kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change lives. For Eminem, the encounter reminded him of his roots and the importance of staying connected to the people who inspire him, no matter where life takes him. As weeks turned into months, Lily and Eminem stayed in touch. She visited his studio a few times, bringing along her sketches and even inspiring the artwork for one of his new singles. Eminem, in turn, made it a point to support the bakery where Lily's mother worked, often buying pastries for his team. Their bond became a testament to the idea that generosity and gratitude can bridge even the widest gaps. In the end, it wasn't just a sandwich that Lily gave Eminem. It was a spark of hope, a reminder that the simplest moments can carry the deepest meanings. And in return, Eminem gave Lily and her mother a brighter future, proving that even in the toughest neighborhoods, magic can happen when kindness takes the lead. In the weeks following the visit from Eminem's team, life in the neighborhood began to change subtly. The bakery where Lily's mother worked started to see an influx of customers. Word had gotten out about Lily's gesture and Eminem's generous response, and people from across the city came to buy bread and pastries, hoping to support the family that had inspired such a powerful story. Some even brought notes of encouragement or small gifts for Lily, expressing how much her simple act of kindness had moved them. Lily, for her part, remained as humble and grounded as ever. She was still the same curious, observant little girl who loved to sit on her stoop with a sketch pad. But now, her sketches took on a new life. Armed with the art supplies Eminem had gifted her, Lily began creating murals of the people and scenes that defined her neighborhood. The once faded walls of the bakery's alley were transformed into vibrant depictions of life in Detroit. A mother holding her child's hand, a jazz musician playing his saxophone, kids jumping rope under the streetlights. Her art brought color and pride to a community often overshadowed by its struggles. One day, as she worked on a mural, a group of local artists stopped by to admire her work. They were part of a community arts program that focused on uplifting young talent in Detroit. Impressed by Lily's raw talent and unique perspective, they invited her to join their weekend workshops. For the first time, Lily found herself surrounded by other creatives who encouraged her to dream big and push the boundaries of her imagination. Meanwhile, Eminem's connection to Lily and her family deepened. He started showing up at community events, often in disguise, to support local causes. While he had always been vocal about his love for Detroit, this was different. He wasn't just representing the city in his music, he was actively engaging with its people. Inspired by Lily's murals, he began funding neighborhood beautification projects, ensuring that more young artists like her had the resources to make their visions a reality. As Lily's artwork gained recognition, an unexpected opportunity arose. A well-known gallery in downtown Detroit heard about her murals and invited her to showcase her work in an upcoming exhibit featuring young, emerging artists. The invitation was both thrilling and daunting. Lily, who had never considered herself anything more than a kid with a knack for drawing, suddenly found herself preparing for her first official art show. Eminem, ever supportive, stepped in to help. He connected Lily with professional mentors who taught her how to present her work, craft artist statements, and share her story with confidence. During their sessions, he often stopped by to check on her progress, offering words of encouragement or simply sitting quietly as she sketched. Their bond grew stronger with each interaction, built on a shared understanding of creativity as both a refuge and a means of expression. The night of the exhibit was a whirlwind of excitement. Lily, dressed in a simple but elegant outfit her mother had made for the occasion, stood nervously beside her displayed pieces as visitors filled the gallery. The collection featured scenes from her life, the bustling bakery, the neighborhood kids playing in the park, and, of course, the now famous moment when she offered Eminem a sandwich. Each piece was rich with emotion, capturing the beauty and resilience of her community. As the evening went on, Lily noticed a familiar figure in the crowd. Eminem had arrived, dressed casually in a hoodie and jeans, but his presence was unmistakable. He didn't draw attention to himself, instead staying in the background and watching as people admired Lily's work. When she finally saw him, her face lit up and she ran over to give him a hug. "You did it, Lily," he said, his voice filled with pride. this is just the beginning. The exhibit was a resounding success. Several of Lily's pieces were sold, and the gallery even offered her a small commission for future works. But more importantly, the event opened doors she hadn't even known existed. Local organizations began reaching out, inviting her to participate in youth empowerment programs and public art projects. What had started as a single act of kindness had blossomed into a platform for Lily to share her talents with the world. Back at home, life was improving as well. The financial support from Eminem's initial gift had allowed Lily's mother to cut back on her hours at the bakery and focus on spending more time with her daughter. The two of them grew closer, bonding over Lily's new adventures and the opportunities that kept coming her way. They even started collaborating on small projects, with Lily sketching designs for the bakery's packaging and her mother turning them into reality. As Lily's reputation grew, so did her desire to give back to the community that had shaped her. Inspired by the support she had received, she started organizing free art workshops for kids in her neighborhood. With funding from Eminem and local businesses, she set up a small studio space where children could come to paint, draw, and explore their creativity. The workshops quickly became a haven for kids who, like Lily, found solace in art amidst the challenges of daily life. Eminem continued to play a quiet but pivotal role in Lily's journey. Though his own schedule was demanding, he made it a point to check in regularly, often surprising her with tickets to concerts or backstage passes to events where she could meet other artists. Each encounter reinforced Lily's belief in the power of connection and the importance of paying it forward. One day, during a quiet moment in the studio, Lily asked Eminem a question that had been on her mind since their first meeting. "Why did you help me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Eminem paused, considering his answer. "Because you reminded me of something I'd forgotten," he said finally. "When I was coming up, there were people who believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. You showed me that it doesn't take much to make a difference. Just a little kindness and the courage to act on it." Years passed, and Lily's life continued to evolve. She eventually earned a scholarship to a prestigious art school, where she honed her craft and developed a style that was uniquely her own. Her work began appearing in national exhibits, and she even started collaborating with musicians, creating album covers and stage designs that reflected her vibrant, community-focused aesthetic. Through it all, she never forgot her roots. Whenever she returned to Detroit, she made it a point to visit the bakery, catch up with old friends, and continue her workshops with local kids. The studio she had started grew into a thriving community center, offering not just art classes, but also mentorship programs, career counseling, and resources for families in need. Eminem, now a steadfast presence in her life, often joked that he'd become her unofficial uncle, but his pride in Lily was no joke. He saw in her the same determination and resilience that had fueled his own rise to success. Their bond, forged in an unassuming moment of kindness, had become a lifelong friendship built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to uplifting others. The story of Lily and Eminem became a legend in Detroit, a testament to the idea that small actions can ripple outward, creating waves of change. For Lily, it was a reminder that even the most ordinary moments have the potential to transform lives. And for Eminem, it was proof that no matter how far you go, the simplest gestures, like offering a sandwich to someone who looks like they need it, can bring you back to what truly matters. As Lily grew older, her journey continued to inspire not only her community, but also people far beyond Detroit. Her story resonated on a universal level, touching those who needed a reminder of how kindness and creativity could create transformative change. Invitations to speak at schools, conferences, and community events poured in. Though she was initially shy about public speaking, she embraced these opportunities, knowing they allowed her to share not just her art, but the values she held dear. During one of these events, a teacher from a struggling school district approached her with a heartfelt plea. Their school lacked funding for art programs, leaving students without an outlet for creativity. Lily felt a pang of recognition. She knew what it was like to have big dreams but limited resources. Determined to help, she partnered with local organizations and donors to set up an initiative she called the Color Project. Its mission was to provide art supplies, mentorship, and creative spaces to underfunded schools across Michigan. The Color Project quickly became a game changer. Lily traveled to schools, teaching workshops, painting murals alongside students, and encouraging them to see their neighborhoods not as places of limitation, but as canvases full of potential. Her belief in the power of storytelling through art resonated deeply with the children she worked with. She often told them, "Every stroke, every color, every line, this is your voice. Use it to tell the world who you are." Meanwhile, Eminem continued to be a steadfast ally. He lent his platform to raise awareness for the Color Project, appearing in interviews and even contributing a track to a promotional campaign. The song, a heartfelt ode to Detroit and its resilience, featured a poignant verse about Lily and the chain reaction of kindness she had sparked. It became an anthem for the city, amplifying their shared mission to empower the next generation. Despite her growing fame, Lily never lost her sense of humility. She kept a small sketchbook with her at all times, filling its pages with quick drawings of people and places she encountered. These sketches became the foundation for a book she eventually published, titled The Kindness Blueprint. Part memoir, part art collection, the book chronicled her journey and the lessons she had learned about compassion, creativity, and community. It became a bestseller, with proceeds going to support the Color Project and other charitable causes. One particularly memorable moment came when Lily was invited to showcase her work at a major international art festival. Among the pieces she selected was a new mural that depicted a simple yet powerful scene, a little girl offering a sandwich to a man on a bench. It was a tribute to the moment that had started it all. When the mural was unveiled, it received a standing ovation, and journalists from around the world clamored to learn more about the story behind it. Lily's impact extended beyond the art world. Her advocacy for accessible arts education influenced policymakers and inspired community leaders to invest in creative initiatives. Schools began restoring art programs, community centers blossomed with vibrant murals, and Detroit as a whole experienced a cultural renaissance, with Lily often credited as one of its key architects. In her heart, Lily remained the same girl who had once wandered her neighborhood with a sketchpad in hand, looking for inspiration. But now, she understood the profound truth that had guided her journey, that even the smallest gestures can ripple outward, touching countless lives in ways you might never imagine. Eminem, too, saw his own life enriched by the connection, often reflecting on how a moment of vulnerability on a bench had led to a friendship that spanned years and shaped lives. As Detroit continued to rise, Lily and Eminem's bond became a cherished symbol of the city's spirit, a reminder that kindness, no matter how simple, has the power to change the world, and that the most beautiful stories are often the ones born from unexpected moments of humanity. Years later, Lily stood on a stage at a global conference dedicated to creativity and social change. The theme was the ripple effect, and Lily was the keynote speaker. Looking out at the audience of thousands, she smiled, holding a framed sketch she had drawn as a child, the original depiction of the moment she shared her sandwich with Eminem. "This," she began, "is where it all started. A sandwich, a gesture so small I didn't think twice about it. But that moment reminded me, and later reminded so many others, of the power of giving." Her voice carried through the auditorium as she spoke about her journey, weaving her story with those of the people she had met and helped along the way. She shared anecdotes about children who had been inspired to paint murals in their neighborhoods, teachers who reignited their passion for arts education, and even communities transformed by collaborative projects that had blossomed under the Color Project. As she concluded her speech, the crowd rose to its feet, applause echoing through the space. Lily realized that her message had transcended her art. It had become a call to action. In that moment, she knew her story would continue to inspire ripples of kindness for generations to come. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on a little girl giving Eminem a sandwich? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.